Stoic Strength Through Egyptian Symbols. A Journey of Resilience, Wisdom, and Modern Triumph. Chapter 1. Stoic Courage Under the Pyramid. In the early dawn of the Fourth Dynasty, young Pharaoh Khufu stood beneath the shadow of his great pyramid, watching the dust rise from the workers' hands. A stormed wind, unpredictable as the tides, threatened to topple the unfinished chambers. The king was not alone. A small delegation of Greek philosophers had long ago flown over the Nile, drawn by tales of Egypt's grandeur and the wisdom of its leaders. They observed not for conquest, but for lessons, how a mortal and his mind confronted the will of forces beyond their control. From that moment, a quiet conversation began between the Greeks and the Egyptians. "We," said the Greek sage, "must learn to accept what we cannot change, to master our responses to what we can." Khufu, in turn, explained that the pyramid's strength came not only from stone, but from the steady, disciplined minds of those who built it. "We build stone, you build will," he said. The moral of this tale is simple yet powerful. When faced with chaos, let your mind be as the stone of the pyramid, solid, unyielding, focused on the present while understanding the cosmic rhythm. To achieve success, we can adopt a stance of controlled acceptance, acknowledging events outside our power, channeling effort into actions we can influence, and maintaining calm within tempest. If you find yourself battling a looming deadline or an unexpected setback, pause and picture the pyramid's steady foundation. Write down 3 tasks where you can exert direct influence and commit to completing those with full attention. By honoring what you can control, your mind will find the clarity of stone, free from the storms that shake others. Remember that the pyramid was built stone by stone, each block a small, deliberate action. Like, share, and subscribe for more timeless journeys. Reflective question. Think of a massive challenge you face today. What are the blocks you can lay down to build a resilient foundation? Chapter 2. Amulet of Resilience, the Egyptian symbol of Ankh and the Stoic principle of inner strength. In the bustling market square of Alexandria, a humble artisan named Dima sold amulets shaped like the Ankh, the Egyptian symbol of life. The Ankh was believed to grant eternal vitality, but it also carried a deeper meaning, a balance between the sacred and the mortal, the visible and the invisible. Nearby, a traveling Stoic scholar, Polycarpus, remarked that the Ankh mirrored his own pursuit of tranquility within turmoil. Together, they crafted a new amulet, a circle of iron wrapped in gold, with the Ankh at its center. The gold represented the golden mean Polycarpus revered, balance between excess and deficiency. Each time villagers felt pressure, they would touch the amulet, reminding themselves to align their emotions with reason and not let fear or anger dictate their actions. The lesson for today is that symbols can be anchors for your mindset. When you feel torn between a frantic desire to control outcomes and a need to maintain inner peace, conjure a reminder of the Ankh's unity of body and spirit. The Stoic principle here is to hold a mental representation of your values and let that guard your emotions. In practice, when a crisis arises, perhaps a sudden market shift or a personal setback, take a deep breath and picture the Ankh wrapped in golden light. Ask yourself, what would the balance of a stone pyramid be were I a stone? Then, act with measured, controlled force rather than reactive fear. Like, share, and subscribe for more tools that transform ancient symbols into modern resilience. Reflective question. How can you create a personal Ankh amulet that reminds you to stay balanced and focused when modern life feels overwhelming? Chapter 3. The Pharaoh's Trial, Choosing Between the Golden Ratio and the Stoic Path. During a banquet overlooking the Nile, Pharaoh Thutmosis IV was challenged by a nobleman who claimed that wealth and status were the only measures of success. Thutmosis dismissed the claim, instead sharing a simple story of how a young scribe was tasked with building a sundial. The scribe calculated the golden ratio, thinking geometry would bring him favor. The result, however, was a sundial that cast confusing shadows, obscuring truth and truth for many. The pharaoh's reply was, "It is not numbers alone that illuminate the day, but the wisdom to use what shines. A sundial, like a life, must be examined in its context, not merely as a decorative object." He compared this to his own rule. He followed a Stoic balance, order governed by reason, not by the fleeting glitter of wealth. This parable speaks to the modern professional's choice between chasing metrics or cultivating intrinsic resilience. A business that focuses solely on quarterly profits may lose sight of ethical foundations, customer trust, or employee well-being. The golden ratio teaches beauty, but the Stoic path emphasizes alignment with purpose. Implementation. In any project, conduct a sundial audit. Identify measurable KPIs, but ask, do these metrics serve a larger purpose in our society? If not, revise them. Bring in Stoic questions before every decision. What will I see in 10 years when all the current noise is gone if I continue down this path? The answer will guide you to sustainable growth that withstands the test of time. Like, share, and subscribe for more ways to blend Egyptian metaphors with Stoic wisdom. Reflective question. When was the last time you questioned whether a metric you track truly reflects your core values, rather than being a mere number on a spreadsheet? Chapter 4. Facing Storms at the Temple of Amun, the Stoic Insight into Acceptance. It was during a fateful season that the flood waters overwhelmed the Nile floodplains, jeopardizing crops and livelihoods across the valley. In the center of Thebes, the Temple of Amun stood serene, even as chaos roiled outside. An old priest named Osca observed the great flood and recited Stoicism. We cannot direct the flood, only how we respond to its inundation. He reminded the townsfolk that the waters were part of nature's necessary balance. The temple, like the mind, must remain a calm refuge. Osca's teaching inspired the community to adopt a mental ritual before each flood, closing their eyes, visualizing the temple's stone walls holding steady, and mentally echoing the phrase, "I accept what I cannot change, I shape what I can." This mental preparation turned fear into actionable calmness. Villagers organized efficient irrigation, saved seeds, and sustained their harvest even as the river rose. Their resilience, based on acceptance, outshone their competitors who fought against the flood with futile energy. In our lives, we can implement Osca's ritual by first consciously acknowledging the forces beyond our control, market volatility, family dynamics. Then, list concrete steps, budget adjustments, skill development that we can actively influence while maintaining inner peace. This practice mirrors the Stoic focus on the dichotomy of control, a principle that separates what is within our power from what is. Embrace the part you can change and let the rest fall away, like water running through a carefully carved canal. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories of acceptance and mastery. Reflective question. Identify an external factor in your current life that you consider uncontrollable. How can you separate your response into what you can influence and what you can accept? Chapter 5. The Eternal Stone, combining Egyptian symbolism with Stoic endurance. In a small village near the Red Sea, artisans crafted a series of stone tablets etched with scenes of pharaohs and the ancients. One of these tablets, discovered by a traveler, displayed an image of a resilient stone wall carved with an ancient Egyptian ankh. The wall was said to endure 400 years, standing firm against time and storms because its builders knew the secret. Strength is not found in resistance, but in knowing how to endure flow. This final chapter teaches that the union of Stoic endurance and Egyptian symbolic resilience forms a timeless strategy. By viewing obstacles as part of a larger, flowing universe, much as the Nile nourishes the land, we can endure difficulties with purpose and grace. Actionable guidance. Create a stones of success visual. Draw a stone wall that represents your long-term goals. Write the ankh at its base, reminding you that life and legacy endure beyond your current trials. When you feel overwhelmed, gaze at the wall and inhale slowly, reciting a mantra that blends Stoic calm with Egyptian symbolism. I endure, I thrive, I am timeless. Like this video, share it with someone who could use a steady hand, and subscribe for more ancient modern insights. Reflective question. What stone wall can you build in your own life to endure today's challenges? And how can you embed a symbol of life to remind you that you will persist? Philosophy Spotlight. Stoicism, the ancient Greek path to modern resilience. Stoicism, as illuminated by Marcus Aurelius, teaches us that a disciplined mind, clearly detached from unmanageable external events, holds the key to lasting happiness. In its simplest terms, Stoicism invites us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot, and to direct all our energy toward the former. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, famously recorded in his Meditations that the universe is change, our life is what the mind makes of it. For him, every hardship, whether a Senate quarrel or an illness, was a test of inner virtue. He did not lament the circumstances, he examined them through the lens of reason, then acted with resolve. From Stoicism, we can extract 3 essential lessons for contemporary growth. 1. The dichotomy of control. Separate your mental energy between the uncontrollable market crashes, criticism, and the controllable your response, ethics, learning. This focus eliminates wasted anguish, freeing resources for productive action. 2. Voluntary discomfort as strength training. Stoics purposefully expose themselves to hardship, cold, fasting, solitude, to cultivate resilience. In modern terms, intentionally stepping outside your comfort zone during a project, seeking tough feedback, or meeting tight deadlines can foster robust character and performance. 3. The power of reflection. Daily journaling or meditation to review decisions and emotions aligns closely with Stoic self-surveillance. It creates a feedback loop, exposing patterns, affirming virtues, and correcting misalignments before they spiral. These Stoic insights dovetail neatly into the theme of this script, the integration of ancient symbols and wisdom into present challenges. Whether you're facing a storm in your personal life, a project deadline, or an unpredictable market, draw upon the Stoic principle that true power lies in intentional, reasoned responses. Embrace the symbolic solidity of the Egyptian stone wall, the calm of the Ankh, and the steady discipline of Marcus Aurelius. Together, they empower you to move forward with calm conviction, knowing that while external events may rise and fall, your inner calm remains a lasting foundation. Remember, he who is brave is free, for freedom comes from understanding one's own limits and transcending them with reason. Apply this truth today. Reflect on the obstacles you face, evaluate what lies within your power, and act with Stoic courage. Because the great philosophers, from ancient Egypt to Greece, were not only sages of thought but masters of living.